Marcus, you're watching Roads Untraveled, and it's an Audi Quattro. What's the exact generator, the chassis code, I guess? What would this be called?
This is a B490 Quattro.
Okay.
So the B4 was kind of the child between the B3 and the B5, so it shares both parts of it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So like front end's old, back end's newer.
Yes. Yeah.
So you get, it's kind of like a test car, I would say, for them.
And obviously all-wheel drive, and we locked the diffs, or the rear's locked.
Yeah, it's got a really nice feature. You can lock the rear end and just give her hell.
All right, so if I remember correctly, this is a 2.5 liter V6.
2.8 liter V6.
2.8 liter, okay.
With a staggering 160 horse for all four wheels.
And it's not a light car. I mean, it doesn't feel like a light car.
No, it's kind of heavy. I think it's around 3,800 pounds or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So, I mean, with the all-wheel drive, it allows you to kind of feels a bit lighter when you want it to.
Sure, yeah. And just driving up here when you were driving, I mean, getting the tail out and everything, it feels natural. And then, I mean, power hooks up obviously pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these things were dominant, right? In the old WRC days, Group B. So it's kind of like just kept it going throughout the whole chassis up until when they got really fancy. But this is like the last of the rally breed Audi, I would say.
Right. Like old school kind of feeling, like very analog and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not a fire-breathing 5-cylinder like the actual rally cars and stuff.
Crazy turbo ones running like insane boosts.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
But with the 6-cylinder, you don't get the engine that hangs so far forward. So you'll lose a bit of that understeer with the V6.
That makes total sense. Yeah, actually.
So while a lot of people don't want these cars because of that, because it doesn't have the 5,
right.
If you don't mind, then I mean the 6 is more than enough.
Wow, yeah, the power actually it's very, very noticeable when you're passing 4,000.
This is gonna sound bad, but it's almost like VTEC comes on, right? Like you feel that the changeover at 41.
But so in terms of modifications, other than the lights and stuff and the mud flaps, what else is
we just cut the back muffler off it just to give it a bit more sound. It's got a cone or a pod filter on it.
Right.
Other than that, right out of the box, this thing is meant for what we're doing right now.
That's so cool.
Whether it be, dirt, snow, anything, this is what these cars were meant to do right out of the line in 1994.
Yes, yeah.
And I mean, it's got wood grain and leather on the inside, so you kind of do it in style too.
Oh, yeah. What a fun car, though. When you have a car that you can just, you don't really have to worry about on a road like this.
I would equate this to, what do they call them? Drift missiles? I'm not
sure. Yeah.
I would equate that to a similar kind of car that what we're using it for right now. I mean, I still drive it on the road every day. I drive it to work every day, and after something like this, I go back to my shop, I see if anything's broken and tighten what I got to, fix what I have to, and then just keep going again.
Now, are parts hard to find for something like this?
They're becoming harder to find just because of the low production numbers of this specific chassis.
Right.
But because it shares some with the older, like the front end's the older one, those are a little bit more in numbers. Back end, we could drop this thing on a rock, and I have two of everything right now.
That's what you kind of have to do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for those of you watching, probably 90% of this time I've been foot to the floor so far. But when you get above kind of 4,000 RPM, you can actually feel that's where you got to really keep it. I mean, 4 to just after 6, I guess, would be red line.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the nice part about having kind of a lower powered car is you get to use everything that it has rather than overkill and using next to, you know, like 50% of its power.
Right, right.
I mean, this kind of gives you a bit more of like you're going all out all the time to have the fun.
Yeah. And I would imagine too, like your buddy was saying in the stages and stuff, you've got to keep an average speed too. So having a car that's like you really have to press it and make it a momentum car basically.
Yeah.
Is kind of cool as well in itself. But.
Well, I mean, you look at like all the big rally cars, they're running, you know, 500-600 horse or something like that, and they're going up to speed. But when you're going through corners and stuff, you're only really doing 70-80 at most.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, would you rather do? Half throttle or balls to the wall?
Yeah, or just foot down.
Yeah,
and
foot
then,
right buried and just go.
Focus on braking, focus on steering, and shit like that.
But that's kind of the nice part about it is the front end's really strong.
Yeah.
The back end's a little bit not weaker, but it's not as strong.
Sure, yeah.
But the parts are all available for the back end.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. That's good. Yeah, I mean, like you said, you've owned cars like this for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you definitely have a large parts catalog. How did you get into rallying and doing stuff like this? Because you mentioned you were on a pit team too.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Ontario.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Cool. I worked with a guy who ran in the CRC, and he took me out to one of the most well-known rallies in Ontario, Rally of the Tall Pines.
Okay.
And from that moment forward, I knew it was something I had to do.
You were hooked, yeah.
Yeah, and then joining the Rally Association in here, I got a chance to pit crew for this guy Pierce Fabian and Rad Racing up at Big White Rally, and that was at that point I knew I needed to say screw it to everything else I was trying to do and just do it.
Focus on it.
Yeah, just fully focus on it. And that was last year, like winter last year, and now I'm in the process of building a full stage car. And my friend Mike, who's back there, is my navigator for the TSD series rerun.
Yeah.
And we're first in our class right now. And,
fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Yeah, this is fun. You can go faster than I thought you'd be able to go. For sure, definitely.
It's just, it's a matter of like, you push it until you hit your confidence level.
Right,
and then the car, because of the all-wheel drive in this car,
oh, that's fucking
it
fun.
can get you out of a jam pretty good. Yes.
Oh my god,
yes, that
dude.
was awesome.
Fuck yes.
That was awesome.
Oh my god.
See, you're natural, man.
You feel the back end gets super light, but it's like, oh man, that's great. That's just awesome.
See, it's like, you hop in, it really instills confidence in you because you can trust the car.
Yeah.
Even with being behind the wheel for as long as you have, you can really trust what the car is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, 10 minutes in driving and you kind of start to feel where it is. Yeah, downhill's...
downhill's where, like, the trickiest part.
Yeah,
Because you can easily overshoot going downhill.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Steering's super light too.
Yeah.
Steering's really light, but it's pretty direct. I mean, you can feel what all tires are doing, really.
Well, it's an interesting steering system in the car too, because it's not like it's a rack and pinion, but the tie rods actually mount right in the middle of the rack.
Really?
Yeah. So it's a little different than your traditional one. So it's supposed to give you a little bit more on-point feeling.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. This car is so much fun, man. Seriously. Thank you so much for letting me drive
no
it.
It's oddly enough, it's actually a Volkswagen shifter.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
this whole piece, yeah.
Well, no, this is from an Audi, but the actual
linkage and
the
stuff,
linkage
yeah.
is from a '84 Volkswagen.
Oh, okay.
And it reduces the throw by 30%.
No shit.
Yeah.
That would be the opposite, I would think.
Yeah, you'd think that, but
Yeah.
I was doing some digging, and guys were like, "Yep, you know, do that." And I actually have 2 beer bottle caps sandwiching the lockout spring there. Yeah.
What would you say to someone who wanted to get into something like this, to actually get into rallying and start doing events?
Volunteer for all the rallies in your area. That's the best way to start talking to people and getting an idea of what you need and all of that. Find a local rally association. Find a TSD series. You know,
Sure,
even a
yeah.
TSD is practice for getting into this, because you need a driver and a navigator. And the biggest part about rallying is the communication between the two.
A lot of people don't get that.
No, the navigator is the most important part. Like, you talk to anybody in the rally life,
Yeah.
they say the driver is just the guy who steers the wheel. The navigator is the one who gets them around the corners.
Yes.
So the whole thing is you got to have communication between the two and a lot of trust.
Oh, for sure.
A lot
yeah.
of trust.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, man, so much for
no
coming
problem,
on.
man. Thank you.
Appreciate this. This was awesome. Yeah, you guys subscribe if you haven't already. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. You're K-Town Boosting.
K-Town Boosting.
On Instagram. I'll put it in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this varied content. See you next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.